Hi there, my name's Elizabeth Christo, and I'm here with the Vianney News Network, here at St. John Vianney's Food Pantry. The Food Pantry is open from 3 to 6 on Wednesdays, and it serves the entirety of Calvert County.
I think of myself as one of the workers, just like everybody else. Everybody's a team. We're all the same. We all get the same salary, and if it wasn't for all the volunteers, this thing wouldn't work. So I'm steering the ship, but you believe everybody here, the volunteers, are the one that are making it work. Those are the best for you.
Is there any specific reason you decided to start it?
Well, I was in the parish council, and Father Daly, it was in the last meeting of parish council, I think in May, and he says, do you think we need a food pantry here? Because Catholic Charities had left the area probably about 2 or 3 years. And I said, well, I know a lot of people in Father. Let me look all during the summer and see what we do. So I looked around during the summer, went to different prices and everything else. Met Kathy Ring with End Hunger, and she told me, definitely St. John Vianney's. We knew it would be them because you're on Main Street. You're in the middle of Calvert County. So they was all excited. So I went back and told Father Daly, I said, well, tell you the truth, we might serve 35 families, but that's 35 families that need food. So we opened it up, and the first week was 35 families, and we haven't seen that count since. It's been going up and up and up and up. But we are glad that we can do it. It's sad that we have to do it. But thank God that, that He's given us the resources and everything that we can help those that need it. I had a lot of the men in the men's club and the Knights of Columbus and different organizations like that came forward. And Rocky was a big instrument in this because he's also a carpenter, and he did all the shelving for us and things. So we got everything up, and my son-in-law, he got me the lighting. And then we have another man of the parish, he's a retired electrician, and he did all the wiring for us. So the whole church comes together when something like this goes on, and we got it put together, we got it in operation. And then Reverend Hahn from up at the church up in Chesapeake Church up the road, he came down, and Father Daly and I were downstairs, and he said, I'm going to give you some advice. He says, if you feed 1,000 people, he says, and 100 beat you, think of the 900 you served. So ever since that's what we do, and that's what we think of, that's what it's all about. The clients coming in here keep me going because there's been cases where we got Wawa for the first time. We pick up Wawa. They put the breakfast foods out. They can only keep them for 15 minutes. Then they have to take them out the line. So we pick them up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and it's the egg sandwiches and different things like that. And the first time we put them out, some lady came in and she looked down and said, oh my goodness, she says, I can feed my family tonight. That inspires me to keep going.
All right. Were there any special memories that come to mind?
No, the only thing that comes to mind is the success of it, the success of all the volunteers coming. I got 87 volunteers for this operation, the biggest ministry in the church. And I try to work everybody, like say, once every 5 weeks so I don't burn them out. And I have probably quite a few of them doing that. But then again, there's that group that comes in every week. And there's probably about 15 guys and women in the office and things like that. We come every week. But the rest of the volunteers, I try to work them once every 5 weeks so we don't burn out. And we're trying to move out of this building and move into the new building over at Suburban. So we're hoping and praying that everybody's praying for us that we can get that building. Because bringing the food in and putting it downstairs is kind of rough, picking it up and carrying it down.
So what's the most rewarding thing for you and the other volunteers here?
Seeing the smiles on the client's face when they come in and get food, and especially the children. And when we have ice cream and we give all the children ice cream or candy or something in that order, a big grin on their face, and that's what keeps us going.
That sounds amazing. Have any persons or businesses been particularly good donors?
Well, Panera right now is helping us out. We pick up from Panera every Tuesday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we bag up all the breads and the bagels and the pastries. They've been very, very good, excellent. We have a new group coming in to the Food Lion, Wise Foods, and I've already been in contact with them to see if I can pick up the pastries and the breads and different things in that order. And so far, it looks like we might just go ahead and get it. We're the youngest food pantry in Calvert County. We'll be 5 years old in November. So the other food pantries have been here 10, 15 years, so they got their foot in the door and everywhere. So it's hard for me to get in there, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We'll be all right.
I see you have a lot of volunteers, especially students. Do you have anything to say
Students
about
is a
that?
fantastic thing. I love that. I love that. During the summer, I had 12 to 15 students working every single day that we were open, and they would come in and help us do the. Well, they would come in and put the food away downstairs. They'd help us with the trucks coming in. They help us with the produce. They help us take the food out to the cars. Oh, the students are fantastic. We love students because when you get the older people retired, the backs are going out and get the young kids coming in here picking up them boxes for us. We love it. We love it. They're great. And then on Thanksgiving, I do 195 families at Thanksgiving, and that's turkeys and giving out all the foods and everything like that. And Good Shepherd sends me down about 15 students from up there every Thanksgiving in uniform, and boy, does that look good. And having the students run around, they got more energy than you can shake a stick out of. Us old geezers are on the porch, and these young ones are coming up here grabbing this and running it to the car, and we just get a kick out of that. We love it. We love it.
Yes. Do you have any suggestions for other parishes that might want to start a pantry?
Well, right now in Calvert County, with End Hunger, Kathy Ring, who runs End Hunger, we've looked at everything right now. We think we got a sufficient enough of food pantries covering the whole area. The only place where we can't is in Solomon's. So if somebody in Solomon's wanted to open a food pantry, that would probably be the ideal place right now. So if the church down there in Solomon's wants to go ahead and open something up with the Knights of Columbus, I'd be glad to get down and help with it.
What's the best way for some of the parishioners watching this to lend a hand?
Well, we have volunteers, but sometimes the volunteers, something will happen. So if they want to volunteer, we put them on a list, and that way we know we got somebody for a backup and things like that. If they want to help, they can bring donations of food in, or they can bring in monies, either one. I can get more with money than a normal person going to the store because I buy from the Maryland Food Bank. And if I buy all donated foods and I get $500, I can get 3,500 pounds of food if it's all donated. But sometimes they don't have all donated foods and I have to buy purchased foods. But it's still the best way to go.
Right. And overall, do you feel that over the years you've been successful?
I think we've been very successful, and we've been in the newspapers quite a few times, and everybody that's running food pantries come up and say, boy, that's St. John Vianney's, man. They're moving right along. So we are doing good. We're hoping to get a new building. And every food pantry started like we did, in the basement of someplace. And then they ended up getting a building, and then it worked out great for them. So that's what we're looking for, a new building where we can get a forklift that can, when the truck comes in, we can get the forklift and take that pallet of food off without us having to handling it. The guys and everybody, that's the day we're all going to celebrate. So that's our goal.
So I understand you have some dealings with Serenity Farms.
Yes, I've been working with Serenity Farms since the first day we opened. Bernie Fowler, who's in charge down there, and he raises crops, and he also has other farmers coming in and bringing foods into him too. Bernie Fowler moves about 2 million pounds of produce a year, and he sends it out to Maryland Food Bank, and he also takes care of everybody in Calvert County. Talking to Bernie this morning, he's going to, I think, work more with the food pantries and with the churches in this area, and he wants to see how many pounds we all use, and that way make sure that we have the foods that necessary to go ahead and feed the people in our own community. So Bernie Fowler, you can't get a better man than that.
Thank you again so much, Larry. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and I hope you have many more great Wednesdays to come.
We will. Tell that, definitely. Thank you. God bless you.
Been a volunteer here since it opened in November of 2011.
Do you like volunteering here?
I love it. Yeah, meet a lot of nice people.
That's good to hear. Are there any special stories?
Not really, except there was one lady that came and she needed special foods, and we didn't have special foods like for special diets. And the day I met her to give her the food we did have, someone left a bunch of foods that were for special diets. It must be God's work, because there it was on the porch, no name from who it was from or anything. It was just there, and she got her special foods.
That sounds fantastic. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Have a nice day.
You too.
I just began this summer, but I came whenever I could.
Do you enjoy it?
I very much do. It's a good opportunity to help those in need.
That's good to hear. Are there any special memories?
Just different people and different stories, and getting to see the same people every week and getting familiar with them.
That's wonderful Wonderful to hear, Austin. Have a nice day.
I love it here. I've been working here about almost 5 years. I'm the office manager. So I do all the scheduling of all the volunteers in the office, clean up the database, do the filing, that kind of thing.
That's wonderful to hear. And I can see that there's got to be a lot of different types of job opportunities here within the pantry besides just handing out food.
Absolutely. We have the distribution guys in the back room who, as you said, hand out the food, but we also have the people in the basement who pack up the food. Mary Carol Cloak is in charge of that. She's got quite a crew down there. You'd have to ask Larry, the director, how many. And then I have a group of 15 who rotate in to do the office every Wednesday.
It's very interesting to hear. Sounds like you've been having a good time. Could you say that this has been a positive spiritual experience for you?
Oh, yeah. In fact, my first response when Larry asked if I would step up because the other person had to leave the job of being office manager, I was like, oh, no way. And then I really prayed about it, and I just heard God loud and clear going, this is where I want you. And I'm like, okay. And I haven't been sorry since.
That's fantastic to hear. So do you think the pantry has grown a lot in what it used to be?
Absolutely. We started with, I think, less than 30 people a week, and now we're up to 100. Sometimes, depending on the economy, we've gotten as high as 150, 175 people a week. Right now, we're averaging about 100 to 125.
Wow. And do you feel like the service you've done here has been really meaningful to the people in the community?
Yes, I do. It's kind of hard sometimes, which is where I think the spirituality comes in. We pray for the people that come here a lot. We have people who have taken in their grandkids, who have taken in nieces and nephews. We have handicapped people. We have mentally ill people. We have veterans, people who've lost their houses. And I really feel like we are providing an incredible service because not only do we give food, we try to give spiritual solace and pray for them and help out sometimes with money if we can, and just to be there for them. Sometimes people just need a place to talk.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless.
I'm here with Amanda to talk about her service in the St. John Vianney's Food Pantry. So, have you been volunteering here before?
This is actually my first time here today. So, yeah, they just kind of welcomed me in here, and I'm probably going to come back every week now. So,
Was it a positive experience?
it definitely was. Seeing all those families come in here in need, it was nice to be able to help them out, especially people who can't carry it to their cars and stuff. That's what we're here for. So,
Was there anyone or anything in particular that inspired you to start coming here?
well, there was one. I have a friend named Michael who you may have interviewed already. He was telling me about it, and I figured why not do it because I have free time. So
That's good to hear. And has there been anyone special that you've met or helped yet that's really inspired you?
well, there was one lady that I helped who I was helping her carry her food to her car, and she was asking me how she could start volunteering, and I thought it was interesting that she wanted to volunteer here while she's coming to get the food. So I thought that was pretty amazing that she would still come to help other people when she needs to help herself.
Right, that's great to hear. Do you think you will be coming back?
Yes, definitely.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah, no problem.
Hi, I'm Michael Dunphy. I'm from Honeytown High School.
All right, Michael. I understand you've been working here for quite a while.
Yeah, I started the second semester my junior year, and I'm a senior this year. So I started probably 8 months ago, about.
So why did you start volunteering at the food pantry?
I heard that there was opportunities for volunteers from FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America, for a volunteer project, and since I started with that, I just kept on going.
So did anything in particular inspire you to stay here?
My parents have always taught me to help those that need it, and ever since I got here, it's just been experience after experience of helping those that need it, and I really like helping those that are having the bad day or are having a tough time, and just brightening their day with just saying hello sir or hello ma'am. It's worth it in my opinion.
That sounds wonderful. Now, as I've seen, you've been walking around with a couple of friends. Do some of your friends volunteer here too?
Yes, I actually can't get here unless I have a ride from one of my friends. So I usually have been bringing a couple friends over, and it's pretty fun because we just get to carry food around and just have a bunch of laughs with all the volunteers. So I think it's worth it.
That sounds awesome. Now, is there anything you'd like to tell other students about what it's like to work here?
It's a very eye-opening experience. It teaches you a lot about being humble and showing that what you do have is I want to say I'm drawing a blank. All I basically want to say is that it shows humility, and that helping those that need it isn't that hard. Just carrying food to a person's car really does change their whole day, and I think just doing a simple act like that is, I don't know, it's pretty simple and pretty easy to do. So
That was beautiful. Lastly, are there any special experiences that you'd like to talk about?
Talking to some of the volunteers that are always here, getting to hear their experiences is always worth it. It kind of reminds me of like talking to my grandparents, hearing how they were like back when they were younger and stuff like that. It's pretty fun listening to their stories. Mr. Larry talking about stories back when he was in the military and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So.
Are there any other groups or student groups that you think should get involved?
I believe the National Honor Society is already getting volunteers here and stuff like that. I believe FBLA is also having their volunteer program again this year. I think anyone that supports the community, we always need help here. But other than that, yeah, just those that support the community, I guess.
Do you think it's an important thing to do?
I believe it is. You're always helping the community. Kind of puts you back to your roots, helping Calvert. I think always helping others is always important, and I always hold that highly. So, yeah, I believe it's always important.
Thank you again, Michael, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday.